So hello everybody, good morning here from Plymouth, from University of Plymouth International College. Good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in the world, and you're very welcome to this training session to introduce all things UPIC. So we'll start with some introductions. We'll show you here the small but perfectly formed UPIC team. So my name is Tim Gotzel. You can see me there in the middle at the top. Tim Gotzel, I'm Director of Marketing and Admissions for the college, and then I will pass over to my colleagues to introduce themselves, starting with Amber.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, yes, my name's Amber. I'm the Marketing and Student Recruitment Coordinator here at UPIC.
Hello everyone, I'm Nico Staurenghi. I'm the Admission Manager here at UPIC.
Hello everyone, my name is Mary Yates and I'm the Admissions Coordinator here.
Good morning everyone, my name is Amy Byrne and I am an Admissions Officer here at UPIC. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning everyone, my name is Toby Joseph Johnson. I'm the Student Experience Manager here at UPIC. Welcome.
Thank you, colleagues. So there are just 5 main things that we're going to go through with you this morning. 5 main areas of focus. We won't bore you to death with each and every last detail of everything we do, but we will introduce you to our location. We'll talk to you about the quality of the college, about our product range, our service, and about student success. And student success is really important to us. That's what you're all about. It's what we're all about. So those will be our 5 main themes for the morning. And then starting with location, I'm going to pass over to Amy, who's going to give you a sight and a feel of how Plymouth is as a city, not just to study, but to live and to work as well. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Tim. All right, let me just share my screen. Perfect. Can everybody see Plymouth? Great, thank you. So I'm going to show you, take you on a whistle-stop tour of Plymouth. I'm going to go slow because it tends to make people a little travel sick. And what I'm going to start off with is showing you actually our UPIC building, which is right here at the end of Portland Villas Road. Now we are just on the edge of the university campus. We are a 30-second walk from the center of the campus itself. And I'm going to show you where I am right now, which is just over the actual central point of our campus. If I take you a little bit beyond, you can see more of the city here, and in the distance you can see our lovely seafront where Plymouth Hoe is. Before I take you there, I'm just going to take you over to the left to a really lovely part of the city, which is our harbour and marina area. So if I jump over to the marine station, what I will start off by showing you is the marine station building right here. And I'm going to swing slowly around just so you can take in the lovely sights. And just here to the right is our Plymouth Aquarium. Now, both the marine station and the Plymouth Aquarium are a huge attraction, in particular for the students who enroll on our marine sciences courses, whether they want to do it as part of their studies or just even for our students just to visit them themselves. They really are really interesting attractions to visit. And like I mentioned here, you can see our marina all through here, which is a really bustling and busy part of the city, particularly in the summer. So I'm going to take you over and show you Plymouth Hoe, which, as I just mentioned, is our seafront area. It's looking really sunny in this view at the moment. I can't say it's like that right now. And this here is what we call the Tinside Lido, which is an outdoor pool. Now, at the moment, we wouldn't recommend a swim there, and it is empty, I think, at this time, but coming into the warmer weather, it's something that is very busy. So in particular for the students who arrive for the May intake, it's a great place for them to visit and a little warmer to swim in. So I'm going to take you back and show you a broader view of the city. So if I just show you quickly over to the right here, this is where we have just come from here, the marine station and our marine area. And this right here is the city centre campus, which we just were a moment ago. Before I take you back there, I'm just going to slowly show you to the left, the outskirts, sorry, of our city. And just to the left there, you can actually see Cornwall, which is really a stone's throw away, and it's a lovely place for students to visit, particularly on the weekend. There's lots to see and lots to do there. So taking you back, between Plymouth Hoe here and the campus is our main city area, and it is less than a mile between here and there. Lots of shopping to do, lots of restaurants, lots of just places for the students to spend time and enjoy. So as I mentioned earlier, I am right above the campus, the center of the campus here. So you can see some places like our student union, our library, which is open 24/7. And some of the accommodation blocks are actually right here also. So we've got Gilwell Hall, Robbins Hall, Radnor Hall, just to name a few. And I'm going to take you into Gilwell Hall as an example, just to show you of what some of the options are like. So in Gilwell Hall, for example, we have rooms just like this, single occupancy. Some of them are en suite, some of them are not. But obviously, if there's no en suite, there are shared bathroom areas. And some of them have then shared kitchen areas, which are lovely, bright, open spaces like this. Lots of space for students to do some cooking. So that is an example of one of our accommodation options. It's worth knowing that the university offers the accommodation on a first come, first served basis. But Amber and Toby will talk a little bit more about the accommodation options later. So back to our campus, and I will just point out some of our buildings. We have the Roland Levinsky building here, which caters to some of our more creative programs. We've got the Babbage building, which has recently been done up and has some excellent facilities to cater for our engineering courses. We've got the Roll building there, and just over here in the distance, so to relate it to where we are, UPIC is there, and Intercity Place is there, which Mary is going to mention in a little while, and that hosts our health and human sciences programs. So before I finish on UPIC, I just do want to point out that the train station is right here, and it's around a 5-minute walk from there to UPIC. So it's ideal for students when they're arriving to enroll, or if at the weekend they feel like taking a trip to visit another city. It's really, really close. So finishing on UPIC here, we are just here at the end of tree-lined avenue. So we are right at the edge of the campus and a couple of minutes walk from the actual center of the city. We have both our admissions team here and our student support team. So we are here Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5. And it's also worth mentioning that the student support team offer out of hours to support to the students should they need any assistance. So we are here to help and help the students settle in particular. So that is our city of Plymouth. That is us here in UPIC and our city of Plymouth. So thank you for joining me on the tour. And I'm going to stop sharing now and then pass you over to Amber and Toby. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. That was brilliant. Yeah, I mean, as Amy mentioned there, our accommodation is very much on campus and very close to the city. We'll just get the slides back up now. But what we would say is we do often recommend students go with a local estate agent called Clever Student Lets, because they offer their bills included in the rent, and also students can book accommodation based on their length of study. Toby, you have a bit more information about this, do you not?
Yes, I do, Amber. Thank you very much, and thanks, Amy, for the amazing tour, whistle-stop tour of Plymouth. Our accommodation is, as we said, within 5 to 10 minutes of the campus. We have ensuite rooms available. We can take recommendations for students who would like, a 1-bed or 2-bed apartment, or would like to live in a shared house. So there are various options available, all on our website, as you can imagine. Our approved accommodation provider, Clever, offer a moving day help, and they also have, complimentary bedding packs. And at the moment, they're working on various vouchers that students can use should they want to, join, visit local international supermarkets. So if you're from West Africa, there's some West African supermarkets, Middle Eastern supermarkets that you can get some discounts for. So yeah, they just try and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible. It's also good to note that, Plymouth itself is one of the top 15 safest cities in the UK. And we don't like to say cheap or low cost necessarily. We like to say value. So you get really good value for the services that you pay for. And please, have a look at our website and get your students to book as soon as possible.
Thanks, Toby. So that covers location, which is the first of the 5 points we wanted to go through with you. We'll move on now to quality, and the quality of the college and the quality of what we offer to our students is really important to us. So to start with the academic elements of that. So more than 85% of our students progress from UPIC to the university, so they complete their foundation program successfully. More than 85% of students who leave UPIC graduate from the university. So we can't offer any guarantee of student success, but if students engage with us, they work hard, then you can see those figures there, more than an 85% chance of achieving the aim that they joined us with, which is graduating from the University of Plymouth. And even better than that, we have an equivalent number of first class and upper second class honours degrees awarded to UPIC students, as are awarded to international students who join the university directly. So we can genuinely show that we're adding value there for our students. So students who may join UPIC with a lower level of education or with lower grades are leaving the University of Plymouth with degrees just as good as international students who join directly. So that's the first aspect of quality that we wanted to cover with you. And then quality also of our partner university. And you can see from that slide there that the University of Plymouth was in 2023 awarded triple gold in the Teaching Excellence Framework. Now, just take a look at the other universities you may work with, and I can promise you very few of them will be triple gold. So that means gold overall, gold for student experience, and gold for student outcomes. So that's a real mark of quality there, that TEF triple gold award. Some other positive rankings there. So we're in the top 5 in the world for all things marine, teaching and research. And as Amy showed you, we have a lovely coastal location here. And that excellence in all things marine is a great example of how our location and the university's specialisms and excellence tie in together. It was also the University of Plymouth, the second carbon neutral university in the UK. So we're very serious about sustainability and commitment to the environment. Also, a top 3 UK young university. So among all the universities in the UK, less than 50 years old, we were ranked in the top 3. So lots of quality kind of kite marks there that you can take confidence in and share with your students, parents, and everyone else you talk to about Plymouth. So moving on about quality, I'm going to pass over to Mary, who's going to tell us about Intercity Place and the facilities there. Also, sorry, Mary, to interrupt you, but I hope you've all been paying attention, because I'm now going to launch a poll that you can go through as we go through the webinar, and we'll finish up with some questions, frequently asked questions that will answer most of the questions in the poll, and we'll give you plenty of time for questions at the end. Sorry, Mary, to interrupt.
That's okay. Thank you, Tim. As you can tell, we're really proud of UPIC, and we're proud of the university campus, which we're part of. It's a significantly positive partnership. Okay, oh, there's our poll coming up now. So the university is incredibly good at keeping up its facilities up to date. It's just updated the engineering building. And the slide that I'm showing you now is the new Intercity Place, which is an 11-story facility, opened this year, and that's available to all of our students who progress from our health and human science courses. It's a significant investment, and it provides state-of-the-art facilities for students to learn in realistic environments. There are wards, there are consultation rooms, and they're all set up with all resources on hand. Physiotherapy and podiatry students can access specialist models and an array of equipment used in their line of work. So it really is hands-on. Nursing students, and we have several nursing courses that we can offer pathways into, they can access one of the 2 floors of wards that are set up exactly how they would find in a hospital. So it's much more hands-on, it's much more relevant and much easier for them to understand how it is and how it will be when they go into the working world. There's optometry students, they can use the optics labs, and there's some pictures there of some of the equipment on the bottom left there. They can use the optics labs in their study. For dietetics and occupational therapy students, they can all use the latest health technologies and digital innovations. Now, in the bottom right of the picture, I don't know if you can see it under the poll, is an incredible piece of kit, and it's called an anatomage table, and they have several of these in the building. It's a real human 3D anatomy system. It's got scan data, it's got images, it's got information, and basically it allows students to peel back layers of tissue and revealing all the underlying structures of the human body, and it allows a closer examination of the human body. So it's real life learning as close as you can get it. Not only are there incredible facilities to learn in right across the university, there are also many cafes, there's social spaces which encourage students to not only socialise but to learn together. There are unrivaled facilities on the university campus, and our students are lucky enough to have 100% access across all the university buildings, as Amy showed in her flight over the campus. So it's an incredible place to both be a student and to work also. Amber, I think I'm going to hand over to you.
Great, thanks, Mary. Yeah, so I mean, we've spoken to you now about how great it is to live and study in Plymouth, but let's hear from our students. We'll start with Simranpreet, a business management student from India. Just a few technical issues, don't you worry, we'll be right with you.
I'm Simranpreet Kaur and I'm from India, and I'm studying BSc Honours in Business Management. UPIC is very supportive. The teachers helped me on the first day regarding the lectures and the buildings around the campus. They also helped me to find out the living accommodation. My favorite location is Barbican, as there are so many shops and stores for the shopping, and cafes and restaurants for the eating. I like the weather here, it's pleasant. Yes, definitely, I will recommend UPIC. The people here are very friendly.
Lovely. Now we'll take a look at the story of Daniel, economic students from Ghana.
My name is Daniel Asare. I'm from Ghana. I'm studying economics. In Plymouth, it's easygoing, it's safe, the people are really friendly. For my first year program, I've been properly prepared for my degree. I do recommend UPIC to other international students because cost of living and way of life in general, it's really suitable for students, especially international students, and it should fit in nicely.
That's great. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I believe now we're passing over to Nico to discuss our product range.
Thank you, Amber. So this is our product range. At UPIC, we offer 3 different entry-level programs: foundation program, first year direct entry, and pre-master, as well as 3 intakes, January, May, and September. So 3 is really the number to remember. So with regard to the September intakes, we offer all the foundation program that you can see here, as well as all the first year direct entry and most of our pre-master. In January, we offer all the foundation program except for the Health and Human Sciences, because those are 3 semesters. We offer some first year direct entry like business and tourism and maritime business, and all of our pre-master. And also we got a main take where we offer some foundation program, particular business, maritime business, and tourism, and all of our pre-master. With regards to our entry requirement, generally speaking, for the foundation, the academic entry requirement is the completion of secondary school certificate. And for first year direct entry is completion of higher secondary education or senior high school, or 48 UCAS tariff point at AS or A level. For the pre-master, the entry requirement is the completion of a university qualification equivalent to at least a UK higher national diploma or a bachelor degree. We also ask that the student got at least a pass grade in maths, but for some specific program, we might ask for good grades in specific subjects. For example, for engineering programs, they need to show us good grades in maths and physics. And for health and human sciences, good grades in maths and science subjects such as biology, physics, and chemistry. With regards to our English requirement, for example, for the academic IELTS, the minimum requirement for foundation is 5.5 overall, and for the other program is 6 overall, with no less than 5.5 in each band. We also accept the academic PTE, person test of English, with a minimum requirement of 59 overall, with no less than 59 in each band for all of our program. We also, for those students who don't meet this English requirement, we can offer some pre-sessional English program, different duration from 2 weeks up to 11 weeks according to the gap that the student need to fill. But for more specific country-specific entry requirement or in IELTS exemption, please have a look at our website in the academic requirements page and the English requirements page when they are divided by country. And now Amy, my colleague Amy, is going to tell us more about some important dates for the students who want to join us in May and September.
Thank you, Nico. So as Nico went through there, we have 3 intakes in the year. So for each of those intakes, we obviously need to have some deadlines. The main ones that I want to point out are our payment and our CAS deadlines. For our May intake, for example, we are already issuing the CAS for May, and this is because, like, luckily we are able to issue the CAS in-house. So and the same goes for September as well. We are actually able to issue the CAS at least 6 months in advance. So for the September intake, we are issuing them from March onwards. So we have these deadlines, but they are not to make anyone panic. They are just to ensure that the students have as much time as possible to get their documents to us, to get their CAS, to then get their visa, allowing them enough time to travel and to enroll here, and to reduce overall stress. It allows them more time. So we have deadlines in place, but why wait until those deadlines? If the student has the documents ready earlier, get them into us to allow us to issue the CAS up to 6 months in advance of their travel here. And actually, speaking of the CAS, Mary is going to next mention that as part of one of our services.
Thanks, Amy. Yeah, basically at UPIC, we just aim to please. Our admissions team here is your first point of contact. We receive the applications and we'll process them as quickly as we can. We're currently operating an application turnaround of around 24 hours. Obviously, at busy times, that may go up a little, but we do aim to turn communications back to you around, again, within the 24 hours as quickly as we possibly can. Any inquiries that you send in, also we will try to deal with as quickly as possible. We're really friendly, we're approachable, and we're happy to help you all the way through the journey, right from application stage all the way through to the moment they arrive here. We also do have some in-country colleagues across the globe who can help you along the way as well. In September and January, we can offer online and sometimes face-to-face pre-sessional English courses that Nico mentioned, and those are for students who perhaps haven't quite met the entry requirements. Again, as Nico said, see the website for further details. Basically, we're happy to assess any documents provided, and we can give advice on those as necessary. If you're wondering whether we accept unusual applications, the answer is quite simply yes. We encourage all applications, even if they seem a bit complicated, because, for instance, for those with a study gap, we consider any length or we also consider slightly lower grades than our published entry requirements. But what we do is simply ask you for some further information, so for a CV and a personal statement questionnaire, and we ask that a CV doesn't have any gaps and is in time order, and we ask that the personal statement questionnaire is original and really shows that the student has some relevant experience and also has really thought about why they want to come here to study in Plymouth and why they've chosen the course and the time they're coming. So once we've got that, we'll give that to our academic board, and again, they can consider their on-site, so they can consider the application and the documents, usually within the same day, which then allows us to continue the process and either make an offer or ask for some further documents. For those with a visa refusal, again, we will consider applications quite happily. We ask that they are honest on the application form and actually state that they did get a visa refusal. If we spot that on the application form, we will ask for an immigration history questionnaire and also a copy of all of the documents that was in their visa refusal. And then again, we will submit those to our academic board for consideration. For under 18s, again, some of our courses are able to be accessed by under 18s, quite a few of them. And when they start the university, they will need to be 18 for most courses, but there are some that we can take them under. But again, we can advise on that once we've received the application, and we will give advice on whether they need to wait for the next intake or whether we can take them onto our foundation programs before. So basically the answer is yes. Put in an application and we will happily assess all of the documents that you provide. The one thing that Amy mentioned earlier is that UPIC is actually quite unique in that we are one of the very few Navitas colleges here in the UK who can actually issue the CAS from this office. We have the sponsor license from the University of Plymouth and we can issue the CAS. Nico is going to talk to you about the process that needs to take place before we do, but we're happy to receive your applications.
Thank you, Mary. As my colleague said, so Mary, Amy, and myself are able to issue the CAS for your student. We don't need to refer all the documents to the university, so this usually speed up times quite a lot. So what do your student needs to do in order to receive a CAS? So after paying the deposit, they will need to accept their unconditional offer letter and check their provisional CAS to confirm whether all the details are correct or whether they need some amendments. If your student is under 18, we'll need some extra document, for example, the parental consent form signed by their parents, a copy of the student birth certificate, and also detail of a UK guardian, which we will verify by email. In regards to the financial document, so financial credibility, so the student will need to provide a bank statement to show enough money to cover the maintenance fee for living costs, which is £9,207, plus any remaining first year tuition fees. So the pre-master, whose deposit is 100%, will only need to show at least £9,207, while foundation and first year direct entry student will need to show £9,207 plus any outstanding tuition fee regarding their first year. So the bank statement needs to come from a regulated bank on the headed paper and need to show enough money for 28 consecutive days, and it has to end no more than 31 days prior to the visa application date. It must include the contact detail of the bank, and it must be on the student name or in parents' name or legal guardian names. We cannot accept, I'm afraid, any other relatives, so we cannot accept sibling, cousin, uncle, mother-in-laws. Unfortunately, we just cannot, because UKVI wouldn't be able to accept them. In case the student decide to apply with the parents' bank statement, we'll also need to receive a copy of the birth certificate and a financial consent letter from the bank account owner. If the bank statement is acceptable, we'll then raise the CAS, and we really invite the student to apply for the visa as soon as they receive the CAS and with the exact same financial document that we have approved. It's also important that then the student will notify us as soon as they receive any news regarding their visa application. So all these regulations, of course, they are according to the UKVI regulations. So we're not just being strict for the sake of it. What we don't want to do is that for the student to get a visa refusal. And we are very proud that in the last year, only the 3% of the student we received, less than 3% of the student we discussed for got the visa refusal. And in particular, in the last January intake, all the students who get a cast from us, they got a visa. So we had a 0 visa refusal rate in the last intake, which was brilliant for us, for the student, and for the regions. Here we also have a look at our academic fees. So the first one are for May, which is the last chance for students to pay the academic fee for 23-24. And then also for September, which will be already academic fee for the academic year 24-25. As you can see, the health and human sciences fee is a bit higher than the usual foundation, but that's just because it's the only foundation which is 3 semesters long. The other foundation are 2 semesters. The pre-master are a bit lower in fees because the pre-master is only 1 semester long. And speaking of money, my colleague Toby is gonna tell us all about scholarship opportunities for our students.
Thanks, Nico, and thanks, Toby. Just to say, we've now covered 4 of the 5 main areas we were going to cover. So that's location, quality, product range, service, and now really importantly, we're going to wind up with that 5th main area, which is that of student success. And over to you, Toby.
Thank you very much, Tim, and thanks, Nico. Student success is very, very important to us. I think it's important in the sense that it shows our students, are getting the benefits of the service that we have available here at UPIC and the university, but also it gives you as agents potential opportunities to promote those students that are actively doing well at the potential college that you will be sending applications to in the future. There are 2 types of scholarships available for students when they move across to the university that they are able to apply for. One of them is the Academic Excellence Scholarship. This one is probably the highest benefited one because it's up to 50% of the tuition fee cost. Understandably, for this one, it's only 1 applicant per year that's allowed to actually benefit from that. So it's not given to like 20 people. You have to have really good academic grades and also contribute positively to the community and the university. The other one is the Progression Scholarship. This is for students who are progressing to certain faculties at the university. So i.e. moving from UPIC to the university. To qualify, they need to have over 85% attendance and they need to achieve 70% in each module as they study, and they will be eligible for £2,000 off their next year's fee. So we had 24 students who completed their pre-master's degree in September last year that joined their master's degree in January that were eligible for the £2,000 off. So we don't just like to incentivize you and possibly offer you scholarships when you're just coming in, but we'd like to celebrate students who are doing really well academically to progress across to the next following years. I will pass you on to Tim, who will talk about one of our other students who has gone on to do so well.
Yeah, thank you, Toby. So, and a shining example here of success of one of our former students, Nadine Mashingaidze, was a UPIC graduate from Zimbabwe. She went on to shine at UPIC and then at the university and then in her career as a lawyer. And in 2022, she was nominated by the Pioneer Awards. So this is a really high profile national event that celebrates individuals who push the boundaries in professional standards. In Nadine's case, especially engage with the local community and offer something back to the community in which she was living and studying. So a great example. She became a finalist because of her exceptional work in the community. She's now working in HR and in care work as well. So greatly engaged in the community from day one at UPIC through the university, now into her professional career. So we get really excited when we have students who shine like this. And often they've come to UPIC being a little bit nervous of whether higher education is for them, whether the UK is the right place for them. And then when we see them flourish and thrive and go on to shine like this, then that's what it's all about for us. So that's student success. Amber, tell us about our social media.
Yes, of course. So we're active across several different social media channels. So we have Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We have the highest engagement from students on Instagram, so do feel free to follow us. Our handle is at UPIC, so UPIC, and YouTube is also a great way for us to connect with students and agents. We will be uploading this webinar to our YouTube channel later on, and we will be sending you the slides as well. So with our social media, we really do try to make sure that students feel fully integrated into the university from day one. So we'll share information about campus events, our societies and activities going on. And it's also really good for us to, sorry, I had to click on something there. Yeah, we also have to share things about, say, timetabling and exam week, academic things. So yeah, we're really proud of our social media. We do share as many student success stories as possible. And yeah, that's social media in a nutshell.
Thanks, Amber. We're pretty much done now. The poll is still running, so this is our chance to see if you've been listening and paying full attention. But just to wind up with what we find are some frequently asked questions. And what we'll do is ask these questions of each other and try and catch each other out. But I'm sure everybody knows everything. And I'm sure particularly Amy knows whether there's an option to study online.
Thanks, Tim. There isn't an option to study online, only if the student happens to be doing the pre-sessional English course that is online. Otherwise, the students are expected to attend in person when their classes are on Monday to Friday. Shall I direct a question to Nico? Nico, what if a student has a study gap?
Thank you, Amy. If your student has a study gap, please invite them to submit the application anyway, because we won't say straight no just because of the study gap. So if the study gap is quite long, for example, 8 years or more, we'll probably need to refer the application to the academic board. But what your student needs to do is to provide, apart from all the usual academic and English requirement document, a strong personal statement, including reason not only for choosing Plymouth for this program, but also reason of why they want to return to study now, after such a long gap, and a CV explaining what they've been doing since the last time they finished their studies. Even better if there is some relevant work experience and activities that they've been doing in the meantime relevant to what they want to study now. So yes, even in case of a study gap, please encourage your student to submit the application, because at least we will be able to review all the document and not just based on the study gap. Toby, can student book accommodation outside of Plymouth?
No, we tend to tell students to book accommodation within Plymouth. So it's, as we said, there's loads available. Outside of Plymouth wouldn't be within commutable distance. So in case they have an 8 a.m. lecture and, for instance, there's a train running delayed from outside of Plymouth, that's why we tend to say, no, book accommodation within Plymouth, not outside of Plymouth. Amber, do students have to attend class every day?
Oh, so Toby, it depends on their timetable. Often, yes, they will have lectures and seminars most days. So we just make sure the students are very aware of when to be in class, where to go. Yeah, so it wouldn't be the weekend though. So Monday to Friday, depending on their timetable.
Fantastic, thank you.
Great. Can I throw a curveball in here actually, Tim? Can I go off-piste?
Yeah, go on.
Great. Well, I was going to say, because I've been checking out the poll and there's a question is Plymouth close to London? And we've had like a controversial popular answer. So Amy, sorry to pick on you. Is Plymouth close to London?
Not really, no. It's fine if a student wants to visit London at the weekend, but it could take half a day to travel, or 3 to 4 hours at least. but during the week for lessons, it's not close. The student would not be able to commute in time to make their classes. So in general, I'll say no, it's not close to London.
Oh yeah, absolutely right, Amy. We're not super close, but the good news is we are only 3 hours and 15 minutes away by train. So you can absolutely get there for a trip, for a weekend. So we're close in terms of England, like we can get there, but yeah, it's not super close to Plymouth. Thank you. I'll just choose someone else for this next question. So Toby, can students pay their fees in installments?
They can pay their fees in installments up until the deadline. There's no installmental payments, like 25%, 25%. We have set deadlines. So if you're on a foundation of a first-year degree with us studying at the college, your fees are usually due on the week 9 of the semester that you start. Thank you. Are there any opportunities for part-time work, Tim?
Yes, there are, absolutely. So with a student visa, a student is allowed to work for up to 20 hours per week during term time, and more hours during the holidays. Because Plymouth as a city is kind of a regional centre for lots of the towns and villages around, there is a lot of hospitality, of retail opportunity here, lots of opportunities for part-time work. So yes, students here to study, but we fully understand that a lot of them need to find the right balance between studying hard, getting good grades, and finding part-time work to help fund their costs. Important to remember that although you can work part-time, you shouldn't encourage students to believe that they can work to pay all of their fees and all of their living costs. They will need the kind of money they showed in making their visa application to meet all of the basic costs. So the money from part-time work is not the cake, it's the icing on the cake. I think that's important to remember. So in terms of questions, what did we have in the poll that we've not answered so far? So we talked about studying online, where Plymouth is, attending classes every day. Yeah, as everyone said, Monday to Friday. It won't be all the time, all of the hours of the day, but students should expect to have classes sometimes at 9 o'clock in the morning, sometimes up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We talked about opportunities for part-time work, living in Plymouth. How many intakes does UPIC have each year? So as Nico mentioned there, 3 is the important number. So 3 levels of study, foundation, year 1, pre-masters, and 3 intakes, everything in September, most of our programs in January, and some mostly pre-masters programs in May. So 3 intakes during the year. So the only question that now remains is, what is the name of the famous food in the southwest of England? Is it pasty, is it pastry, or is it Yorkshire pudding? I'm disappointed to see that the right answer actually has the lowest vote. So the pasty is the famous food. It's a kind of, how would you describe it, Mary? It's a kind of semicircular pie, isn't it, with a crust? So not Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire is the name of a county in the north of England. Yeah, so that's it. Before we leave you, and thank you very much, everybody. Thank you to my UPIC colleagues for all of your inputs. Thank you to the hundreds of people that we had attending. It's great to see you all here. As Amber mentioned, we'll post the recording up on our YouTube channel and take a look at that because there's lots of other really interesting videos on there. But yeah, any final points my colleagues would like to make, or any final questions from the participants before we leave you to get on with your day? Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We'll leave it there and we hope to see you soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.